शिवशक्तिसमारम्भां भास्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मद्श्रीनाथपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। श्रीनाथादिगुरुत्रयं गणपतिं पीठत्रयं भैरवं सिद्धौघं वटुकत्रयं पदयुगं दूतीक्रमं मण्डलं वीराङ्ग्यष्टचतुष्कषष्ठिनवकं वीरावळी पञ्चकं श्रीमन्मालिनी मन्त्रराजसहितं वन्दे गुरोर्मण्डलम्। श्रीविमर्शानन्दनाथं सत्याम्बासहितं गुरुं हृत्पद्मकर्णिका मध्ये भावयेत् सर्वसिद्धये। श्रीभासुरानन्दनाथाय नमः। श्रीभास्करराय गुरुमण्डलाय नमः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानामालयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करं लोकशङ्करम्।
Namaste, Shri Gurubhyo Namaha, Shri Matre Namaha. Welcome to this week's Sadhana on Soundaryalahari. This week we will cover from the 81st to the 90th shlokas. First, we will learn to chant the 81st shloka.
gurutvaṃ vistāraṃ
Gurutvaṃ vistāraṃ, Gurutvaṃ vistāraṃ,
kṣitidharapatiḥ pārvati nijāt
kṣitidharapatiḥ pārvati nijāt, kṣitidharapatiḥ pārvati nijāt.
gurutvaṃ vistāraṃ kṣitidharapatiḥ pārvati nijāt
Gurutvaṃ vistāraṃ kṣitidharapatiḥ pārvati nijāt. Gurutvaṃ vistāraṃ kṣitidharapatiḥ pārvati nijāt.
nitambādācchidya
Nitambādācchidya, nitambādācchidya,
tvayi haraṇarūpeṇa nidadhe
tvayi haraṇarūpeṇa nidadhe, tvayi haraṇarūpeṇa nidadhe.
nitambādācchidya tvayi haraṇarūpeṇa nidadhe
Nitambādācchidya tvayi haraṇarūpeṇa nidadhe. Nitambādācchidya tvayi haraṇarūpeṇa nidadhe.
ataste vistīrṇo
Ataste vistīrṇo, ataste vistīrṇo,
gururayamaśeṣāṃ vasumatīṃ
gururayamaśeṣāṃ vasumatīṃ, gururayamaśeṣāṃ vasumatīṃ.
ataste vistīrṇo gururayamaśeṣāṃ vasumatīṃ
Ataste vistīrṇo gururayamaśeṣāṃ vasumatīṃ. Ataste vistīrṇo gururayamaśeṣāṃ vasumatīṃ.
nitambaprāgbhāraḥ sthagayati
nitambaprāgbhāraḥ sthagayati. Nitambaprāgbhāraḥ sthagayati.
laghutvaṃ nayati ca
Laghutvaṃ nayati ca. Laghutvaṃ nayati ca.
nitambaprāgbhāraḥ sthagayati laghutvaṃ nayati ca
Nitambaprāgbhāraḥ sthagayati laghutvaṃ nayati ca. Nitambaprāgbhāraḥ sthagayati laghutvaṃ nayati ca. So now we will chant all the 4 lines together. You'll have to note that when we chanted the first line, we ended it as pārvati nijāt and chanted the second line as nitambādācchidya. But now when we chant all the 4 lines together, we will chant pārvati nijān nitambādācchidya. Nijāt plus nitambādācchidya becomes nijān nitambādācchidya. So you will see the change in the sound when we chant all the 4 lines together. Now we will chant all the 4 lines together 2 times.
गुरुत्वं विस्तारं क्षितिधरपतिः पार्वती निजान् नितम्बादाच्छिद्य त्वयि हरणरूपेण निदधे अतस्ते विस्तीर्णो गुरुरयमशेषां वसुमतीं नितम्बप्राग्भारस्थगयति लघुत्वं नयति च गुरुत्वं विस्तारं क्षितिधरपतिः पार्वती निजान् नितम्बादाच्छिद्य त्वयि हरणरूपेण निदधे अतस्ते विस्तीर्णो गुरुरयमशेषां वसुमतीं नितम्बप्राग्भारस्थगयति लघुत्वं नयति च.
We'll now listen to Priya Paramesh, Mahinta and Karthik, and listen to their musical rendition of this shloka in Maya Malavagaule Ragam.
गुरुत्वं विस्तारं क्षितिधरपतिः पार्वती निजात् गुरुत्वं विस्तारं क्षितिधरपतिः पार्वती निजात्
गुरुत्वं विस्तारं क्षितिधरपतिः पार्वती निजात् गुरुत्वं विस्तारं क्षितिधरपतिः पार्वती निजात्
nnitambādācchidya tvayi haraṇarūpeṇa nidadhe nnitambādācchidya tvayi haraṇarūpeṇa nidadhe
nnitambādācchidya tvayi haraṇarūpeṇa nidadhe nnitambādācchidya tvayi haraṇarūpeṇa nidadhe
गुरुत्वं विस्तारं क्षितिधरपतिः पार्वती निजान् nnitambādācchidya tvayi haraṇarūpeṇa nidadhe गुरुत्वं विस्तारं क्षितिधरपतिः पार्वती निजान् nnitambādācchidya tvayi haraṇarūpeṇa nidadhe
गुरुत्वं विस्तारं क्षितिधरपतिः पार्वती निजान् nnitambādācchidya tvayi haraṇarūpeṇa nidadhe गुरुत्वं विस्तारं क्षितिधरपतिः पार्वती निजान् nnitambādācchidya tvayi haraṇarūpeṇa nidadhe
ataste vistīrṇo gururayamaśeṣāṃ vasumatīṃ ataste vistīrṇo gururayamaśeṣāṃ vasumatīṃ
ataste vistīrṇo gururayamaśeṣāṃ vasumatīṃ ataste vistīrṇo gururayamaśeṣāṃ vasumatīṃ
nitambaprāgbhāraḥ sthagayati laghutvaṃ nayati ca nitambaprāgbhāraḥ sthagayati laghutvaṃ nayati ca
nitambāprāgbhāraḥ sthagayati laghutvaṃ nayati ca nitambāprāgbhāraḥ sthagayati laghutvaṃ nayati ca
ataste vistīrṇo gururayamaśeṣāṃ vasumatīṃ nitambaprāgbhāraḥ sthagayati laghutvaṃ nayati ca ataste vistīrṇo gururayamaśeṣāṃ vasumatīṃ nitambaprāgbhāraḥ sthagayati laghutvaṃ nayati ca
ataste vistīrṇo gururayamaśeṣāṃ vasumatīṃ nitambaprāgbhāraḥ sthagayati laghutvaṃ nayati ca ataste vistīrṇo gururayamaśeṣāṃ vasumatīṃ nitambaprāgbhāraḥ sthagayati laghutvaṃ nayati ca
gurutvaṃ vistāraṃ kṣitidharapatiḥ pārvati nijā nnitambādācchidya tvayi haraṇarūpeṇa nidadhe ataste vistīrṇo gururayamaśeṣāṃ vasumatīṃ nitambaprāgbhāraḥ sthagayati laghutvaṃ nayati ca gurutvaṃ vistāraṃ kṣitidharapatiḥ pārvati nijā nitambādācchidya tvayi haraṇarūpeṇa nidadhe ataste vistīrṇo gururayamaśeṣāṃ vasumatīṃ nitambaprāgbhāraḥ sthagayati laghutvaṃ nayati ca
gurutvaṃ vistāraṃ kṣitidharapatiḥ pārvati nijā nnitambādācchidya tvayi haraṇarūpeṇa nidadhe ataste vistīrṇo gururayamaśeṣāṃ vasumatīṃ nitambaprāgbhāraḥ sthagayati laghutvaṃ nayati ca gurutvaṃ vistāraṃ kṣitidharapatiḥ pārvati nijā nnitambādācchidya tvayi haraṇarūpeṇa nidadhe ataste vistīrṇo gururayamaśeṣāṃ vasumatīṃ nitambaprāgbhāraḥ sthagayati laghutvaṃ nayati ca.
We will quickly go through the meanings of this shloka. Bhagavad addresses Devi as Parvati here. Hey Parvati, Gurutvaṃ, the heavy, Vistāraṃ, the expansive and broad, kṣitidharapatiḥ, meaning the Lord of the bearer of earth, that is mountains, Lord of the mountains, Himavan, tvayi haraṇarūpeṇa nidadhe, presented to you as the wedding present, nijāt nitambādācchidya, pulled out from his own sides, ataste ayam, ataste has to be split as ataha te ayam, therefore this your, vistīrṇah, expansive and broad, guruhu, heavy, nitambaprāgbhāraḥ, hips, aśeṣāṃ vasumatīṃ, covering the earth, laghutvaṃ nayati ca, makes it very light. He says, O daughter of the Lord of mountains, Himavan, looks like your father has presented to you in dowry at the time of your wedding the land from his sides. This is why your hips look massive and expansive, that could conceal the earth and also make it look light, meaning the heaviness of the earth is nothing compared to the heaviness you carry. Bhagavad Pada describes Devi's hips here. He is now moving to the third section of Devi's body from hips to the feet, also called the Shakti Kuta. Shakti Kutaika Tapanna Katyadobhaga Dharini, says Lalita Sahasranama. Shakti Kuta is also the third section of the Sri Vidya mantra. Kriya Shakti, or the action energy, manifests in this section. Lalita Sahasranama says she is Ichha Shakti, Jnana Shakti, Kriya Shakti Swarupini. Bhaskara Raya quotes the Malini Vijaya Tantra in his commentary for this Nama and says that supreme divine energy becomes the energy of desire when Brahman, the supporter of the universe, wishes to create. Here, the energy is Ichha Shakti. She becomes the energy of knowledge, the Jnana Shakti, when she reminds the Brahman saying, let this be this way. When knowing this, Brahman acts, she becomes the energy of actions, or the Kriya Shakti. Then the universe is born. When she becomes this Kriya Shakti, or the energy of action, the gross material of earth is born.
At the time of giving the daughter in marriage, it is a tradition for the father to give some wealth along with his daughter. Mountains behave like nails holding the entire earth together. They play a big role in maintaining the equilibrium of earth. Here, Bhagavad Pada says, your father Himavan, who is the king of mountains, cut some of his own flanks and gave away as dowry at the time of giving away his daughter Parvati. We can find a reference to this idea in the Devi Mahatmyam. Devi Mahatmyam says in the second chapter, when Shiva and Vishnu heard about the miseries Mahishasura was causing to Devas, they frowned and a huge light sprung forth from their foreheads, and more lights came out of the body of Indra and all Devatas. All these lights united together, and the Devas saw one big bright light in front of them, becoming like a huge mountain of fiery light pervading all the directions. Atīva tedasah kūtam jvalantamiva parvatam vidrishuste surastatra jvala vyapta digantaram. This incomparable shining light pierced through the three worlds with its bright luster, combined into one female form of goddess. Ekastham tadabhun nari vyapta loka trayam tvisha. Yat abhut shambhavam tejas tena jagata tanmukham. Yamyena chabhavan kesha bhagavo vishnu tejasa. The light from Shiva became the face of the goddess. Lord Yama's light became her hair, and Lord Vishnu's light became her arms. Then comes the line that is relevant for this sloka of Soundaryalahari. Varunenaja jambhoru nitambādācchidya bhuvaha. Meaning, Varuna's light became the thighs and calf of that goddess, and bhuvaha, meaning the earth's light or Shakti, became her hips. It further says, Himavan Vahanam Simham Ratnani Vividhani cha, meaning Himavan gave this goddess the lion as a Vahana and lots of different kinds of gemstones. Bhagavad Pada elaborates these lines of Devi Mahatmya in this sloka of Soundaryalahari.
In fact, Lalita Sahasranama says she is Talodari, meaning the entire Atala Loka becomes her waist when she assumes the Virat form. So now let's move on to learning the 82nd shloka of Soundaryalahari.
Karīndrāṇāṃ śuṇḍān
Karīndrāṇāṃ śuṇḍān Karīndrāṇāṃ śuṇḍān
kanakkadalīkāṇḍapaṭalī.
कनककदलीकाण्डपटलीं कनककदलीकाण्डपटलीं
करīndrāṇāṃ śuṇḍān कनककदलीकाण्डपटलीं
करīndrāṇāṃ शुण्डान् कनककदलीकाण्डपटलीं करīndrāṇāṃ शुण्डान् कनककदलीकाण्डपटलीं
उभाभ्यामूरुभ्याम्
उभाभ्यामूरुभ्याम्
उभयमपि निर्जित्य भवति
उभयमपि निर्जित्य भवति उभयमपि निर्जित्य भवति
उभाभ्यामूरुभ्याम् उभयमपि निर्जित्य भवति
उभाभ्यामूरुभ्याम् उभयमपि निर्जित्य भवति उभाभ्यामूरुभ्याम् उभयमपि निर्जित्य भवति
सुवृत्ताभ्यां पत्युः प्रणति
सुवृत्ताभ्यां पत्युः प्रणति सुवृत्ताभ्यां पत्युः प्रणति
कठिनाभ्यां गिरिसुते
कठिनाभ्यां गिरिसुते कठिनाभ्यां गिरिसुते
सुवृत्ताभ्यां पत्युः प्रणति कठिनाभ्यां गिरिसुते
सुवृत्ताभ्यां पत्युः प्रणति कठिनाभ्यां गिरिसुते सुवृत्ताभ्यां पत्युः प्रणति कठिनाभ्यां गिरिसुते
विधिज्ञे जानुभ्यां
विधिज्ञे जानुभ्यां
विबुधकरिकुम्भद्वयमसि
विबुधकरिकुम्भद्वयमसि विबुधकरिकुम्भद्वयमसि
विधिज्ञे जानुभ्यां विबुधकरिकुम्भद्वयमसि
विधिज्ञे जानुभ्यां विबुधकरिकुम्भद्वयमसि विधिज्ञे जानुभ्यां विबुधकरिकुम्भद्वयमसि. Let's repeat all the 4 lines together 2 times.
करīndrāṇāṃ शुण्डान् कनककदलीकाण्डपटलीम् उभाभ्यामूरुभ्याम् उभयमपि निर्जित्य भवति सुवृत्ताभ्यां पत्युः प्रणति कठिनाभ्यां गिरिसुते विधिज्ञे जानुभ्यां विबुधकरिकुम्भद्वयमसि करīndrāṇāṃ शुण्डान् कनककदलीकाण्डपटलीम् उभाभ्यामूरुभ्याम् उभयमपि निर्जित्य भवति सुवृत्ताभ्यां पत्युः प्रणति कठिनाभ्यां गिरिसुते विधिज्ञे जानुभ्यां विबुधकरिकुम्भद्वयमसि.
Let us listen to the musical rendition of this shloka.
करīndrāṇāṃ शुण्डान् कनककदलीकाण्डपटलीं करīndrāṇāṃ शुण्डान् कनककदलीकाण्डपटलीं
करīndrāṇāṃ शुण्डान् कनककदलीकाण्डपटलीं करīndrāṇāṃ शुण्डान् कनककदलीकाण्डपटलीम्
उभाभ्यामूरुभ्यामुभयमपि निर्जित्य भवति उभाभ्यामूरुभ्यामुभयमपि निर्जित्य भवति
उभाभ्यामूरुभ्याम् उभयमपि निर्जित्य भवति उभाभ्यामूरुभ्याम् उभयमपि निर्जित्य भवति
करīndrāṇāṃ शुण्डान् कनककदलीकाण्डपटलीम् उभाभ्यामूरुभ्यामुभयमपि निर्जित्य भवति करīndrāṇāṃ शुण्डान् कनककदलीकाण्डपटली mubhābhyāmūrubhyāmubhayamapi nirjitya bhavati
karīndrāṇāṃ śuṇḍān kनककदलीकाण्डपटली mubhābhyāmūrubhyāmubhayamapi nirjitya bhavati karīndrāṇāṃ śuṇḍān kनककदलीकाण्डपटली mubhābhyāmūrubhyāmubhayamapi nirjitya bhavati
सुवृत्ताभ्यां पत्युः प्रणति कठिनाभ्यां गिरिसुते सुवृत्ताभ्यां पत्युः प्रणति कठिनाभ्यां गिरिसुते
सुवृत्ताभ्यां पत्युः प्रणति कठिनाभ्यां गिरिसुते सुवृत्ताभ्यां पत्युः प्रणति कठिनाभ्यां गिरिसुते
निधिज्ञे जानुभ्यां विबुधकरिकुम्भद्वयमसि निधिज्ञे जानुभ्यां विबुधकरिकुम्भद्वयमसि
विधिज्ञे जानुभ्यां विबुधकरिकुम्भद्वयमसि विधिज्ञे जानुभ्यां विबुधकरिकुम्भद्वयमसि
सुवृत्ताभ्यां पत्युः प्रणति कठिनाभ्यां गिरिसुते निधिज्ञे जानुभ्यां विबुधकरिकुम्भद्वयमसि सुवृत्ताभ्यां पत्युः प्रणति कठिनाभ्यां गिरिसुते निधिज्ञे जानुभ्यां विबुधकरिकुम्भद्वयमसि
सुवृत्ताभ्यां पत्युः प्रणति कठिनाभ्यां गिरिसुते विधिज्ञे जानुभ्यां विबुधकरिकुम्भद्वयमसि सुवृत्ताभ्यां पत्युः प्रणति कठिनाभ्यां गिरिसुते विधिज्ञे जानुभ्यां विबुधकरिकुम्भद्वयमसि
करीन्द्राणां शुण्डान् कनककदलीकाण्डपटली mubhābhyāmūrubhyāmubhayamapi nirjitya bhavati सुवृत्ताभ्यां पत्युः प्रणति कठिनाभ्यां गिरिसुते निधिज्ञे जानुभ्यां विबुधकरिकुम्भद्वयमसि करीन्द्राणां शुण्डान् कनककदलीकाण्डपटली mubhābhyāmūrubhyāmubhayamapi nirjitya bhavati सुवृत्ताभ्यां पत्युः प्रणति कठिनाभ्यां गिरिसुते निधिज्ञे जानुभ्यां विबुधकरिकुम्भद्वयमसि
करीन्द्राणां शुण्डान् कनककदलीकाण्डपटली mubhābhyāmūrubhyāmubhayamapi nirjitya bhavati सुवृत्ताभ्यां पत्युः प्रणति कठिनाभ्यां गिरिसुते विधिज्ञे जानुभ्यां विबुधकरिकुम्भद्वयमसि करīndrāṇāṃ śuṇḍāन कनककदलीकाण्डपटली mubhābhyāmūrubhyāmubhayamapi nirjitya भवति सुवृत्ताभ्यां पत्युः प्रणति कठिनाभ्यां गिरिसुते विधिज्ञे जानुभ्यां विबुधकरिकुम्भद्वयमसि.
We'll go through the meanings now. Bhagavad Pada addresses Parvati by 3 names here. He addresses her as Bhavati. Bhavati is a word used to respectfully address a woman. It's a feminine gender word for Bhavan. So Bhavati, he says, he's respectfully addressing her using the name Bhavati. Then Girisute, hey Parvati. Vidhigne. Vidhigne means one who knows all Shastras. Karīndrāṇāṃ, of the greatest elephants, śuṇḍān, trunks, kανακκαδalīkāṇḍapaṭalī, meaning a bunch of golden hued plantain stems. Ubhayamapi, surpassing these 2 are your mubhābhyāmūrubhyāmū, 2 thighs. Nirjitya bhavati. Nirjitya means having won over. Patyuhu, of her husband Paramashiva. Pranati kaఠinābhyāṃ, because of doing panchanga prostrations or panchanga namaskarams daily, the knees are hardened. Suvrittabhyāṃ, and are shaped beautifully. Janubhyāṃ, your knees. Vibudha karikumbhadvayam, the celestial elephant's frontal globes. Asi nirjitya, you have won. In this verse, Bhagavad Pada describes Devi's thighs and knees. Her thighs are compared to elephant trunks, but it can only be compared to the shape of elephant trunks, as the trunks are not smooth but rough-skinned. So Bhagavad Pada compares it to the golden colored, soft and shining stems of the plantain tree. But the stems of plantains are also cold and so cannot be compared with Devi's thighs. Devi's thighs easily win over both elephant's trunk and plantain stems, says Bhagavad Pada. Devi is addressed again as the person who knows all Shastras, Vidhigne. He addresses her as Vidhigne. Because of this, although all the gods are offering their prostrations to Devi, Devi as a Pativrata does not forget her duty to do namaskarams to her husband Shiva. Because of doing the Panchanga Namaskara on a daily basis, where the knees touch the floor, Devi's knees have hardened and also become round. To compare the round knees, Bhagavad Pada mentions the frontal globes of the celestial elephant Airavata. But Devi's knees easily win over even Airavata's frontal globes, Bhagavad Pada says.
In the Lalita Sahasranama, we have a nama Kamesha Jnata Saubhagya Marda Urudvayanvita. The symmetry and smoothness of Devi's thighs are known only to Kamesha, her husband. Kalidasa says something similar in the 36th shloka of the first chapter of Kumara Sambhavam when describing Parvati. The trunks of lordly elephants, due to toughness of their skin, and the plantain stalks, due to their extreme coldness, were unfit as standards of comparison for her thighs, though having a plump and rounded shape. In the Srividya Upasana, Nyasa or placing the different deities in the different parts of the body are the most important ritual. Tantras explain the importance of the sadhaka being the deity prayed. This type of sadhana will take the sadhaka to spiritual heights. There are two types of knowledge a sadhaka can get. One is apara, which is obtained by reading books, knowledge of science, literature, which we can obtain by going to school, college, etc. There is another type of knowledge called paravidya, which is transcendental knowledge. This is obtained by direct intuition and inner revelation by a sadhaka. Vedas and Upanishads contain these type of revelations, which are the direct knowledge perceived by rishis during their yogic state, which they transmit to their disciples. Rishis, when they are in the yogic state, are also able to visualize the physical form of the gods or goddesses. Bhagavad-pada is revealing the form of goddess he saw during his deep meditation. He is able to see the most beautiful form of goddess as well as the Vishwarupa or Virat Swarupa. In the previous verse, we saw that Adi Shankara is seeing Devi as the form and size which is so big that even the earth looks very small. She is in the form of Chit or consciousness, as well as she is the one transforming as the entire manifest creation. As the Vedas say, Anoradiyan Magato Mahiyan, she is the smallest of the smallest atom, as well as the biggest and biggest of all manifest creation. That is billion times the size of the biggest galaxies which we can perceive. Gurutvaṃ, vistāraṃ should be seen in this context.
We already saw from the 70th to the 80th verse, Bhagavad-pada explained the Madhyakuta or the Kamarajakuta of Devi. From the 81st shloka, the Shakti Kuta is being explained. Lalita Sahasranama says, we already saw, Shakti Kuteikatapanna Katyadhobhaga Dharini, Kati Adhobhaga Dharini. The one below the waist is where she manifests as the Shakti energy. We have to meditate upon that Shakti as action energy or Kriya Shakti when we meditate on Devi's hips, thighs, knees, calf muscles, ankles, and her feet. With this, we conclude today's session. Please join us tomorrow again, same time, as we learn the next two shlokas. Namaste. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Shri Matre Namaha.
Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Shri Matre Namaha.
शिवे शिवसुशीतलामृततरङ्गगन्धोल्लसन् नवावरणदेवते नवनवामृतस्यन्दिनी गुरुक्रमपुरस्कृते गुणशरीरनित्योज्ज्वले षडङ्गपरिवारिते कालितयेष पुष्पाञ्जलिः कालितयेष पुष्पाञ्जलिः